Welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we take your sources, notes, and research and really plunge into them, extracting those crucial nuggets of knowledge.
Think of us as your personal shortcuts to being genuinely well-informed. We try to add a dash of humor, maybe some surprising facts along the way.
Today, we're embarking on a custom deep dive, based on the sources you've shared, into a pretty immersive world of fantasy and, well, intense romance.
Yeah, we're exploring Callie Hart's QuickSilver.
Yeah.
It's a book that has sparked, I think it's fair to say, a lot of buzz in the romantasy genre.
Right, that blend of fantasy with a really strong romantic storyline, often quite explicit, too.
Exactly.
So our mission today is to unpack the core appeal of QuickSilver, dig into its intricate world building, analyze the characters who are definitely compelling, and trace the plot twists.
And we'll also look at Callie Hart's distinctive writing style as well.
Ready to jump in? Let's unravel this story.
Let's do it.
So QuickSilver just grabs you immediately with those strong romantasy elements. Let's start with maybe the big one, enemies to lovers.
Ah, yes, the classic.
How does this play out between our protagonist, Saris Fan, and the formidable Kingfisher? He's often infuriating, right?
Oh, absolutely. From the very first encounter, Saris views him with just palpable animosity. It's really vivid in the source material.
Like how vivid?
Well, she actually punches him square in the mouth at one point.
Okay, straight in.
Yeah, and she dismissively calls his sword a toothpick. So that initial hostility, it's not subtle. It's right there front and center.
Mm-hmm.
But what makes it compelling is how, over time, because they're forced together, through shared dangers, that sort of rigid animosity starts to soften. It shifts into something else, something more complex.
That initial punch is definitely a strong start. But the real magic of enemies to lovers is that shift, isn't it?
Exactly.
And the narrative drops these little hints of attraction even when Saris is totally denying it. You get mentions of his scent, causing a thrill of panic-tinged intrigue.
And her blood rushing to her cheeks.
Right, so does that slow burn, that simmering tension, does it feel genuinely earned? Or is it maybe too quick a shift from, wanting to punch him?
No, I really think it feels earned. The narrative builds that connection pretty painstakingly. It's through their forced reliance on each other.
Okay.
Like you have moments where he unexpectedly heals her after a battle, or when he gives her his father's sword, Solace.
Right, those little moments.
Yeah, they're not just random acts. They feel like cracks in his sort of stoic facade. They reveal his hidden burdens, a capacity for care you didn't expect. And this gradual unveiling of his character, plus their shared experiences, it creates this foundation that makes the transition to romance feel much more organic, not just like flipping a switch.
Built on necessity and maybe shared trauma.
Definitely. And a slow, almost grudging respect develops too.
Okay, so beyond enemies to lovers, this book is firmly in the fae romance subgenre, which is huge right now in romantasy.
Oh, massive.
So what unique elements does QuickSilver bring? Anything that might surprise readers familiar with, say, Akotar or other big fae series?
Well, you get the pointed ears and the elongated canines you might expect, but the fae in Yvalia have this incredibly keen sense of smell.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they can pick up on emotions, even arousal, through pheromones, which adds this really intriguing, almost primal layer to how they interact. It's a different kind of vulnerability.
So it's not just what they see or hear.
Exactly. It's what they literally smell on each other. And we also find out about their longevity. Kingfisher himself is, 1,733 years old?
Wow.
And that's not just a number. It hints at centuries of history, conflict, personal burdens. It informs his character in a way a younger character just couldn't carry. It gives the fae here a distinct weight, I think.
Definitely adds depth. Now, for many readers, especially in romantasy, the spice level is a big draw.
Very big.
They're often looking for that explicit content as part of the romantic journey. How does QuickSilver deliver? Is it really as spicy as the reviews say?
It definitely lives up to the hype on that front. The book is very much considered spicy. It has explicit scenes, explicit language.
Okay.
The narrative really doesn't shy away from intimate details. It uses direct language, like fucking in his bed, and gives these vivid, uninhibited descriptions of their physical encounters.
So it's integral to the story.
For many readers, yes. This explicit content isn't just tacked on. It feels like a significant part of how the romance develops and deepens. It drives that emotional and physical connection. It's part of that raw, intense feel the book has.
Right, part of the package.
Absolutely. Okay, so moving beyond the romance for a bit, one of the real strengths here is the world building. It's incredibly distinctive.
Yeah, let's delve into those contrasting realms Saris lives in. because they are really different.
Totally.
She starts in Zilverin City, which is this harsh, sun-baked desert world ruled by the tyrannical, undying Queen Maudra.
And it's brutal. Violence is just commonplace, almost casual. Ceres herself sees her mother murdered.
Right, and the sources mention things like peasants being slaughtered, guardians gutting people just for lying about their age.
It really paints this picture of extreme poverty, constant danger, just a completely unforgiving environment. You feel the heat and the desperation.
Then, in complete contrast, she's transported to Evalia, the mystical, icy Fey realm.
Yeah, talk about whiplash. You go from desert grit to opulent white marble palaces, grand libraries, vast ancient forests.
It sounds beautiful, but maybe cold.
Exactly. It's inhabited by all sorts of fey creatures, pixies, dryads, brownies, satyrs, nymphs. But even the light is different. The book describes it as devoid of any warmth. And at one point, a fey character hurries Ceres past windows because the world outside is just a blur of white and gray. That stark visual contrast really sets the tone for her new, bewildering reality.
What really elevates the world building for me, though, is that unique magic system, QuickSilver alchemy. It's not just, spells and potions.
No, it's much more interesting than that. That's where the real ingenuity is. The Quicksilver metals themselves are sentient. They communicate through these whispers.
Sentient metal.
Yeah. Yeah. So Ceres' ability isn't about forcing it. She has to negotiate with the Quicksilver. There's this great scene where she's trying to reform Danya's sword.
Right, she's kind of talking to it.
Exactly, coaxing it, trying to get it to accept being forged. It's this profound, almost spiritual connection, not just a parlor trick, like she initially thinks.
So the magic has personality.
Kind of. And this unique bond lets her forge these ancient magic channeling weapons called Alchemerian swords. They become conduits for huge amounts of magic. It gives a sense of collaboration to the magic itself, makes it feel ancient and powerful.
And adding another layer, you've got both Fey and hidden vampires. How do they fit together, and how does their conflict drive the story?
This is where the world's history gets really juicy. The lore says Fey were once cursed, turning into creatures very like Malcolm. He's the High Fey vampire king.
Okay, so vampires originated from cursed Fey.
It seems like it. But then a cure was found. Those who chose to stay vampires, like Malcolm, now wage this centuries-long war against the Fey.
Standard fantasy war stuff.
Well, here's the twist. The really fascinating part, the huge reveal, is that Malcolm, Maudra, the Undying Queen from Zilverin.
Wait, her?
Yes. And the current Fey King, Bellicon. They're all siblings.
Whoa! Okay, that changes things.
Right. It completely reshapes the power dynamics. The war isn't just realms and species. It's this deeply fractured ancient family feud playing out across worlds. It makes the personal and political stakes feel incredibly high and intimate.
Okay, let's talk Ceres Fane. She's our eyes and ears in this world. Her journey from, like you said, street thief in a desert dystopia to alchemist in a Fey palace is huge.
Absolutely central.
What really defines her? How does that past shape who she becomes?
I think she's defined by her resilience, first and foremost. Forged in Zilverin, surviving immense loss, seeing her mother murdered. Her initial motivation is just crystal clear. Find and protect her younger brother, Hayden, even if it means stealing from the Queen's Guard, navigating that dangerous underworld.
And her powers.
She really grapples with them. Initially dismisses them as a parlor trick, fears their potential, but underneath that, you sense this secret longing to master them, to get more metal for her craft. It hints at this power she doesn't fully grasp yet.
Some reviews mention she can seem a bit naive or maybe arrogant. Do you see that? And does it work, or does it make her annoying sometimes?
It's an interesting tension, for sure. She can be stubborn and, yeah, maybe a bit overconfident sometimes in handling situations, like how she first confronts Kingfisher, calling his sword a toothpick. But those moments often just highlight her inner fire. You know, her quick comebacks, her sarcastic humor, like yelling, "Holy gods and martyrs," or snapping, "You could at least say hello before you start eye-fucking me." It's not just comedy. It shows her wit, her resilience. It makes her relatable because she's had to be that tough. Those moments of perceived naivety are often just her raw spirit clashing with a world she doesn't understand yet.
So it makes her feel more human.
Exactly.
Yeah.
More like a character, really, on a journey, flaws and all, not some perfect hero from page one.
Okay, what about Kingfisher? The broody, shatter-powered warrior. Clearly a force of nature, but complex, too. What are the layers beyond just dark and mysterious?
He absolutely embodies that sort of two-faced nature you often see in romantasy heroes. One minute, He's a mindless savage with a shitty temper, snapping at Cirrus.
Yeah.
Then the next, he's unexpectedly caring, healing her after battles, giving her his father's sword, solace. That duality is key.
And his past.
That deepens it significantly. His mysterious past involves a century-long enthrallment by Malcolm, a deal he struck to save his people.
A whole century?
Yeah, the book says he endured more than a century, enduring this shithole without even the escape of sleep as a reprieve.
Right.
That kind of suffering. It's not just backstory. It's what forged him. It explains so much of his guarded nature, his conflicted actions.
That level of personal burden, being bound by an ancient oath, how does that shape his choices, especially with Cirrus? It sounds like a constant internal war.
It really is. You feel his internal struggle constantly, especially when he's facing the consequences of his actions or dealing with his fated mating bond with Cirrus, which he initially resents, right?
Mm-hmm.
He even confesses to her in this rare moment of vulnerability that she's the chink in my armor, the soft spot where the knife slides in. He says Malcolm will hurt her to hurt him, and he couldn't fucking bear it.
Wow. So it's not just love, it's this immense vulnerability.
Exactly. And the crushing weight of his duty.
Yeah.
His huge power, his sword Nimmerel, his shadow gates. It's constantly challenged by this sense of responsibility. It makes him a really tragic, compelling figure caught between fate, duty, and desire.
And you need good supporting characters, too. How do people like Carrion, Renfis, and Lorith add to the story?
Oh, they definitely round out the world. Carrion, who's Cirrus's former lover, and this charming grifter.
Right, the funny one.
Yeah, he brings much-needed humor with his unfiltered comments. He has this cynical but surprisingly insightful view on the Fae world. And he even goes through this big change, eventually becoming Fae himself.
With weird moss covering him.
Haha, yeah, which just adds to his quirky charm. Then you have Renfis, the loyal general. He's Kingfisher's steadfast friend, often trying to mediate Kingfisher's darker moods, and gives us crucial info sometimes.
And Lorith.
He's another warrior, and he eventually gets bonded to a new Alchemaran sword, a Vizioth, that Cirrus forges.
Showing her power growth.
Exactly. It expands Kingfisher's team, but also powerfully shows Cirrus moving from apprentice to true master alchemist.
Okay, let's talk plot progression. It seems to balance Cirrus's personal quest with this huge conflict. How does the story keep its momentum? Does it ever drag?
Well, it definitely starts with a bang. That high-stakes escape from Zilvern, fleeing Madra's guardians, you're thrown right in.
Mm-hmm.
Then it does shift gears a bit. Cirrus takes on this reluctant role as an alchemist in Yvelia, making these relics, the Alchemaran rings, for the Fae.
The trial and error phase.
Yeah. And while that part, as she's learning her powers, might feel a bit slower to some readers, it feels absolutely essential. It's the crucible for her development, for understanding her QuickSilver abilities, for her sort of begrudging integration into this new world.
Laying the groundwork.
Precisely. It lays the groundwork for everything that explodes later.
And does it pay off? Does the pacing pick up again?
Oh yeah, that groundwork pays off big time. The pacing ramps up significantly when Malcolm is properly introduced, and the war against the feeders of vampires escalates.
Are the action scenes good?
I thought they were really compelling, actually, especially when Cirrus, now armed with Solace and using the combat training she got from her mother's rebel friends, gets onto the battlefield. It feels earned, and the weight of that centuries-long conflict in Yvelia is always there. It constantly impacts her journey, weaving her personal mission into the fate of the whole realm. Creates a real sense of urgency.
So with all those layers, were there any plot twists or reveals that genuinely surprised you or maybe recontextualized everything?
Absolutely. That discovery we mentioned, Malcolm, Madra, and Belicon being siblings, that dramatically reshapes everything. Turns this epic war into this intense, twisted family feud. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a big one.
But maybe even more surprising, the biggest reveal, I think, is finding out Cirrus was godbound from birth by Zareth, the god of chaos.
Not bound.
Yeah, he specifically interfered to make her human when she was apparently always destined to be Fae and Kingfisher's mate.
Whoa. Okay, so destiny?
It recontextualizes everything. Her true cosmic purpose as an alchemist is revealed, reset the balance of the realms. It lifts her journey beyond the personal into something divine. The stakes become astronomically high, raises all sorts of fascinating questions about fate versus free will in this world.
Let's shift to Callie Hart's writing style. How would you describe it? What makes it stand out?
It's often described as intense, raw, and emotional. And I think that's really accurate. She uses this very sensual and gritty language that pulls you right into the story. The descriptions are incredibly vivid. You really feel present, like the sucking mud of a war camp. You can almost feel it on your boots.
Yeah.
Or the shimmering red affair made of raw silk dress that Saris hates. It feels visceral, immediate.
Like you're right there with her.
Exactly.
And the story's told entirely from Saris's first-person perspective. How does that POV affect the reader's connection to her and the world?
Oh, it's critical. That first-person view allows for such deep immersion. You're right inside Saris's head, her thoughts, her fears, her fantastic, sarcastic inner monologue.
Yeah, the sarcasm is great.
It really is. We're not just watching her struggle. We're experiencing every discovery, every aha moment about QuickSilver, every flash of frustration when Kingfisher is being, as she put it, an arrogant bastard.
It makes it really personal.
Incredibly personal. It forges this very strong, immediate connection. You feel every emotion right along with her.
So after diving this deep into QuickSilver, what's the overall impression? Would you recommend it, especially to fans of romantasy? What kind of reader clicks with this?
Well, despite some reviews noting moments that might feel a bit slow or maybe tropes that feel unoriginal within the genre,
You do see that come up.
you do. But I think the compelling characters, that really unique magic system, and the genuinely high-stakes plot make it a gripping read overall. For fans of fae romance, especially if you love a good, intense enemies-to-lovers story, it's definitely a page-turner.
It's a journey, maybe with a slower bit, but the payoff's worth it.
I think so, yeah. It's an ideal choice if you crave intricate world building, a strong enemies-to-lovers dynamic with plenty of that spice we talked about, and, crucially, a protagonist who you really see grow and transform through adversity. The mixed reviews, I think, just highlight that while it might have flaws for some, its considerable strengths, the unique alchemy, the depth of Kingfisher's character, Saris's voice often outweigh them for its target audience. It takes familiar elements but adds these layers of unique depth that make it stand out.
Our journey through QuickSilver today has really been an in-depth look at destiny, defiance, and those surprising connections that bind us.
Yeah, and as we wrap up this deep dive, Saris's journey from street thief to this pivotal figure in a cosmic battle really stays with you. It leaves us with the thought, maybe for you, our listener, how much of our own destiny is truly our own, and how much is maybe already woven into the fabric of things, just waiting for us to awaken to our purpose. Something to think about.
Definitely something to think about. We hope this deep dive has given you that shortcut to being well-informed about this captivating world and its characters.
Join us next time on The Deep Dive for another exploration of your sources.